So kind of 2 weeks of shit talk, 2 weeks of utter shit talk of a shit talking Hyde, shit talking Journey. What's the
Yeah,
verdict gonna be on the Crimson Harder?
a lot better actually.
Yeah,
Thank
boy,
God,
same.
a
Yeah.
lot better. I was
Hmm.
worried that I I last week's episode was a bit depressing and down in the dumps.
It was just a hate
So
speech.
bit of a hate speech, And I wonder what people thought of it because I remember finishing it and being like, "Wow, we were really like unenthusiastic." And it's hard to be when you talk about an episode like that. But
Yeah.
although I don't think this episode's perfect by any means, I do think it was a really good breath of fresh air, something that's fun and quite original,
Hmm.
which we really needed. I think
Yeah.
that's good.
It's definitely, I think, like straight off the bat, I'm gonna say it. Say it. This is probably Mark's best episode. It might
Mm,
fight with Cold War a bit. I don't know which one of the
mm.
two of them, but it's definitely for me up there as his best one.
Totally, yeah, definitely his most original. I think.
Mm.
And what a crazy whack original idea,
Yeah,
which I
dude.
think is the
Imagine
best part of
asking
it.
Dame Diana Rigg to like, God rest her soul, but like rip off her
Yeah,
blouse and like,
I know. I know. It's crazy. It's interesting. I think it's definitely one of those episodes that's just like I remember well when I watched it today, I was like, this is really like unlike an episode I've seen before. And I think that's its best, the best thing going for it.
yeah, it's
You
pretty
know,
bizarre, pretty damn
it is
bizarre.
bizarre. It is bizarre. It really is. It even like even the way it plays with like the whole colored film type thing they
Mhm.
do in the like the middle of the episode. A really cool idea,
That was a
which
cool
I
way of
thought
like
did
kind of
well.
just the word vomiting exposition, but in like a kind of interesting way.
Yeah, I totally agree, and it was really cool the way they did it. It's obviously just a filter on probably Final Cut Pro, but I
Yeah.
still appreciate the effort of the film.
Yeah, it definitely
I
wasn't
still
shot on
appreciate it.
film.
No, no, I don't know if people know that, but it
No.
wasn't. It was a filter probably on Final Cut Pro. Okay, but I still appreciate it. Again, when they can do something in season 7, which I feel like they haven't done before, which is going to be hard for a writer to do. I appreciate it, and I think it worked well. You're right though, and not
Mm.
only that, I also thought it was a very I could find myself being very spooked with this episode as a kid, and I also think it does probably push it like violent wise. A lot of dead bodies and rivers, a lot of like
Mm.
fallen over corpses and stuff, and a lot. And
Yeah.
there's a jump scare that I remember even got me when I was watching it the first time, where the guy comes in when Matt Smith's like frozen. He's like, ah, and he like
Yeah, yeah.
falls, and that's where the eye gets the picture of the eye, Matt Smith in the eye comes from. I remember that got me quite a few times. So
Mm.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
before we so we are talking about Crimson Horror today. If you couldn't tell, before we dive
Woo!
into
The
the
Crimson
Crimson
Aura they
Horror
call it.
in all of its glory, tragedy in the Doctor Who community this week. Tragedy. There has been the biggest death of all time in Doctor Who, and that is the death of the Doctor Who animation range. The
Really?
well, it's I don't think it's like confirmed. I don't think it ever will be because yeah, for a few reasons. But so obviously, like a couple of times a year comes out an animation that is an animation recreation of a missing episode. You know, there's a
Mm.
bunch of episodes from the 60s where the episodes have been burned. They have been wiped from the BBC archive. Um, and over the past like for a while they've been redoing it, but in the past like 4 years or so, they've really upped the ante um in
Like Fear of the
delivering
Deep and stuff.
in delivering some pretty decent enough quality animations to pull it off. Other than Web of Fear, we don't talk about Web of Fear, but yeah, for the
Right
most part, they're
intelligence.
all really good. And even then, Web of Fear, it's like at least it's a way of experiencing that episode,
Mm.
and it is for only one part of a six-parter, so you can get away with it. Web of Fear.
It's a cool idea, I think, the whole animation thing.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it allows people to with it being animation, they can kind of be creative without limits. With making those episodes in the 60s, they never were allowed to have big sets or anything like that because there wasn't budget, there wasn't space. Whereas now, like if there's meant to be a big spaceship in the episode, they can actually have a proper big spaceship in the episode, which is really cool. Um, Anyways, it's basically heavily rumored and been reported on by some reliable sources that the Abominable Snowman, which is the next one to be animated, will be the last one, because
Why
BBC
though?
America funds them with BBC, and I think they had like a contract for like to make 6 of them, and then after that they'd renegotiate. And it sounds like BBC America has pulled out of the funding ring. So
Wow.
BBC are either going to have to find a new partner, or they're going to get scrapped, or I think we'll see animations again. It just might be a while before the next one, I think.
Why doesn't the BBC just fund it itself?
I don't think
sure they can afford it.
I don't know. I don't think it's economically viable for them to put that much into it. I don't know how this works, man. I'm no businessman. I'm just a man.
What? I didn't even hear about that. That's interesting. That's It was a really cool way though. It was a really cool way to because they used the audio from the episodes, didn't they? Most of the time.
What was that?
They used the audio like pretty much every time. I'm sure there was probably bits and pieces here and there they had to like recreate, but it was the audio from the episodes.
All the audio, as far as I'm aware, it's all there.
It's all there. Okay.
So it's all the original audio.
That is cool. Yeah.
I owned 2 of them. So I owned Fear of the Deep, which Dan bought me, and then I have the Evil of the Daleks. One, because I always thought that story sounded kind of cool. So when they said they animate it, I was like, yeah, I'll get around that. But 2, because the steelbook just looked so beautiful. I was like, I just need that. I need that in there.
Well, my friend Mitchell, who notoriously isn't a fan of Doctor Who, the only thing that actually really interests him about Doctor Who is the idea that they can sometimes find reels, like film reels of the episodes that we're talking about now, and they can sometimes find audio and stuff. And I remember telling them at Christmas and explaining how they did like the animations and stuff. It's for the first time ever that I've spoken to him about Doctor Who. It's actually been interested in something. So it's actually a cool thing that I feel like people actually do like and care about. But, if it's going to get scrapped, that is a shame, because I feel like even me, who it's not really my thing, I feel like I can really appreciate the idea of it and the fact that they've done it.
I think I reckon around the 60th we'll get a few episodes, maybe a few episodes returned to the archive, if you know what I mean. Maybe strong if, purely because we know out there in the Twitter community, we know there's a few of the missing episodes that are in collectors' hands that it's not confirmed, I don't think, but it is like so heavily like legit that some of these collectors have these episodes and don't want to give them back for like, I don't know, money reasons.
So they can just be like, probably because they can be like, well, I own probably the last copy on Earth.
Yeah, exactly. But I reckon come the 60th, I reckon maybe we'll get 1 or 2 of those episodes back. Maybe that'll be cool. I don't know. Hopefully some nice soul is like, oh, this show is 60 years old. Maybe these guys
means a lot to so many people. Yeah. It's that's really interesting. Yeah, I bet someone does just have that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, I love collecting stuff too, but yeah, that's wild. It's interesting. I hope we do. It's weird the 60th coming up. I feel fucking old because I remember the 50th like it was last week. So it's weird to think that. So it's next year now. 60th is next year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, end of next year.
That is weird. That is weird to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's sad that that's going to happen, most probably. But we'll see, I guess. I didn't hear anything about that. I feel like ever since Eve the Daleks dropped, no one's really talking about Doctor Who much. I guess there's not really much to talk about.
Even myself, I've like not posted anything on Twitter in a couple of weeks.
Dude, I forgot to post about this. I mean, it's so funny. I actually got some really cool responses this week, which we'll get to. But I was like, fuck, I forgot. So I just chucked it on before I watched the episode, which I did a few hours ago. Yeah. So I forgot to watch that as well. So
basically every week we'll like to listen to we like to read your reviews of the episodes that we review, like the Crimson Horror. So if you want to do that, hit us up on @50doctor on both the Twitter and the Instagram. We like to be a little bit active on there, so that's always a lot of fun. Shall we get into the episode, my friend?
50% podcast.
Damn straight. So, Crimson Horror. The Crimson Horror is the 11th episode of the 7th series of the British science fiction drama Doctor Who. It was written by Mark Gatiss and directed by Saul Metzine and was first broadcast on BBC One on the 4th of May 2013. Set in 1893 Yorkshire, the episode features the Victorian era detectives Madame Vastra, Jenny Flint, and their alien butler Strax. The first half of the episode focuses on the detective's search for their missing friend, the alien time traveler, the Doctor, Matt Smith. In the second half, they team up with the Doctor and his companion, Clara Oswald, Jenna Louise Coleman, to prevent a plot by the chemist-engineer Miss Gillyflower, Diana Rigg, who wishes to start a new world by wiping out all of humanity, apart from a community she deems to be perfect. So, like I said, it is written by Mark Gatiss. We all know Mark Gatiss. He's done all of the most average episodes of Doctor Who imaginable, but they're all like kind of fun, at least. We've got Cold War, Idiot's Lantern. What's this series?
Unquite Dead.
Unquite Dead, yeah.
Unquite Dead, yeah.
All sorts of quality adventures.
Victory
of the Daleks. That's right. Night Terrors. Oh my God. Empress of Mars. Sleep No More.
Damn, he's got some bad ones as well.
That's all him. He's also done a lot of Sherlock. Anyways, he comes up a lot on the show. So, but the director is Saul Metzine, who has directed quite a bit of this series, in particular of Who, because I've noted his episodes come up a few times. You may recognize him from Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, A Town Called Mercy, The Snowman, and he will return one last time for The Name of the Doctor. So,
wow! So he directed all the Paternoster Gang episodes as well.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, well, the ones in this season at least.
In this season, yeah.
Because we got Deep Breath,
so maybe
and
there was a little bit of
The Good Man Goes to War as well.
We keep saying how like weirdly selected directors are. Maybe there was a little bit of planning, just a little bit.
Maybe.
A little bit.
I feel like this is probably more because they had the same actors on those 3 episodes. They might have done like a block together with them. So,
maybe. That's a good point as well.
Yeah. Interesting. So the Crimson Horror. Connor, when you were a young man back in 2013, where were you at mentally going into this episode? Were you excited? Do you have any recollection of watching it and what your first reactions were?
I actually don't. I don't. I don't remember actually watching it at all. I seem to have good memories of everything but this episode. Always thought it looked a bit odd, but I think I remember enjoying it, not loving it. I remember I liked it more on rewatch when I got the DVD.
I'm the same, yeah.
A couple months later.
Yeah, the only memory I have of watching this episode is that first shot. I don't know why. I just remember at my old house, I have an image of my head of that shot where it, cranes up from the alleyway and it has like Yorkshire 1893 written on the wall, and it keeps going up. I just remember that, and that's it.
Yeah, I remember. It's funny because I always remember you remembering that shot. So every time I see it, I remember the conversation we had at school about you telling me it was there, and I fucking never saw it until I rewatched it, and I was like, "Oh, there's that text." Gee, on the wall. I never saw it.
It's pretty subtle.
Yeah, when I first watched it, I never noticed it, and I think the second time I watched it, I never noticed it. And then you told me it was there, and I think I went home that night and watched it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, shit, it's there." So classic me, but yeah.
There you go.
Nah, I always remember kind of not hating it, but enjoying it a lot more on rewatch, and I think it works a lot better whilst rewatching the season as well.
Yeah, it's I think it's a well placed adventure.
Totally
feels right.
Totally, yeah.
And I like we might talk about it a little bit more later. I like the cliffhanger, even though our favorite little 2 munchkins aren't the best actors in the world.
Artie and Angie,
and they're written in the most poorly way. I still think that like the cliffhanger is kind of cool because I never really realized it as a kid, but it makes Clara realize her past lives. Like
that was really cool. I like that a lot, and it was also cool to have a little bit of a throwback to Cold War and Hyde. That was nice,
and it was also cool, I think, in a very standalone series to have a cliffhanger.
Yeah. I remember you said to me when we saw Angie and Arlie and Bella St. John, you're like, I'm pretty sure that they're at the end of Crimson Horror. And I had no memory of that at all.
Yeah, really.
So when they were at the end of the episode, I was like, shit, they are here.
That
I totally forgot about that. I was like, this man is onto it. I literally forgot about that shit. So that was pretty funny. But I agree, the cliffhanger was really cool.
So let's do it then, Connor. Let's talk about the Crimson Order.
The Crimson Order, they call it. Okay. Well, we've already established the lovely opening shot.
Nice.
And then we get to see people are line up everywhere to get in the sweet bill. And I like, also, we start the episode, it pretty much starts in like a morgue. I like how we're already into it and we get to see like a dead body that's like frozen in like wax almost.
Yeah.
It looks weird. It looks off-putting, and I kind of love that we're seeing a dead body on a slab. It makes me feel happy that they got away with that kind of thing for a kids' TV show.
I love seeing dead bodies on slabs.
Yeah. Also, I'm 90% sure there's like a shot outside the. Is that a morgue? I think they call it a morgue, where they keep all dead bodies. There's a shot outside the morgue, and I'm 90% sure it's the same building where Irene Adler's at when they first meet her in season 2, episode 1 of Sherlock. I think it's Scandal Baldagia. I can never say it.
I want to say Belgavia or something.
I think it's that. I always fucking don't remember it, but I'm 9% sure that's the building they use there, which is pretty cool. And then we get to see.
Wait, Bohemia is the book, and then Belgravia is the episode.
Belgravia, that's it. Scandal Belgravia, yeah, that's it. I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure as well. I think season 3 or season 2 aired in Sherlock when season 7 was out. Was it
I
want
to say series 2 has aired, but series 3 is still a couple of years away.
Yeah, that actually does make sense. Yeah, so they probably already filmed there, and I think they were just like, "Fuck it, we use this place again." As like just this quick exterior shot. But I thought that was fun. And then we got this detective who takes a picture of the eye, which is this theory I guess people used to have back in the day. I do like this episode. It kind of takes the idea of like conspiracy theorists and stuff, and showing that it was even like that back in the day. Like Mrs. Sweet, for one, is like this trying to like whack people's minds into the idea of it, of like almost like a judgment day coming. So it's funny to see that still to this day things don't really change.
Yeah, have you seen Don't Look Up?
I have, yes. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I watched it over Christmas.
It's not great.
No, I didn't really like it. Hey,
no,
I thought it was fine.
It's all about conspiracy theories for anyone that doesn't know. That's the linking key here.
Pretty much.
It's pretty shit, I think.
Yeah, it's a cool cast, but I think that's the thing that's only got going for it.
Yeah,
to be honest, I didn't really love it, which is a shame because I liked the director's last film a lot.
Vice,
but I wasn't too keen. Yeah, Vice. Yeah, I really liked Vice. Yeah. Shame, sad. But it was really good to see the Paternoster gang again. I think they suit this episode really well.
They're so fun. I was thinking, like, I don't know if I wish that they had another episode. Like, I feel like they have just the right amount of episodes to be like, they're a really good, enjoyable, recurring character, and we don't necessarily like ever feel overused or anything like that. That being said, what I do find weird is that they're in Deep Breath, and that's like the first episode of an era, and they never come back. I feel like maybe maybe it would have been cool if they came back in Twice Upon a Time or something like that, just to be like the bookends of the Capaldi era, and also closing off the Moffat
Rusty
era.
The Dalek. We got Rusty the Dalek back from episode 2 of that new era, but we didn't get the Paternoster gang.
Damn.
That is funny. I always thought that because they seem to be selfish characters who are quite integral to Moffat's era, and then they kind of just get left in the dust. I mean, the only character I'd say the gang who doesn't really get used well is probably like Strax. He kind of gets told to like stay outside. I thought that was a bit weird. Because I do like seeing Strax. I thought his like presence in Snowman was one of the only things I really liked about it. So
it is funny when he finds a sat nav.
Thomas, yeah.
Thomas, that's a great gag.
Bro, that's another joke that totally went over my head.
Yeah,
for many years. I was like, fucking hell. How did I not get that shit? It is good to see them though. I do really like them as characters. I wasn't too keen on them when I was a bit younger, but now rewatching the show, I think having them pop up here and there is a nice little treat.
I agree.
all the fainting gags are a bit silly but pretty funny.
It's good
The
because
same
it's
guy
like
faints like 3 times.
that's the kind of thing that like women in Victorian era are portrayed as doing, is like the
Right.
classic faint, and so they have a
Yeah.
man do it, which I think is like a fun flip.
It was. The third time it happened, I was like, for fuck's sake. But I was like, this is just funny though. Like I do kind of like it. But they find in the eye a little, that's another thing. I'd say like the editing and the direction stuff and sometimes the storytelling, I think was close to a Sherlock episode, I felt like, and it makes sense because it's obviously Marky Mark.
Yeah, I agree. It's got like the energy of a Sherlock episode. Hey, it's very, very snappy.
Yeah, it's very snappy. Even when that detective's like talking to like Vastra and then it cuts to him back at the morgue taking the photos. It's like quick cuts and a quick zoom, and it's like and it goes back to him telling the story. I was like, yeah, definitely very Sherlocky vibes. But then they just go and get the pictures already, and they see the doctor is in the eyeball of this man.
No way.
Dead.
You're kidding.
Bruh.
Bruh.
I do also like another thing I really like is that like the Doctor and Clara don't show up for a while either. It's just
It's
the
nice
gang.
to have a relatively Doctor-like episode. It's been a while since we've had that.
It is. It's yeah. It's very similar to a Doctor Light episode.
Yeah,
which I think is good, and I think it shows that the characters are fleshed out enough for us to enjoy our time with them. Like I didn't even know it. I barely even picked up on the fact the Doctor wasn't in it for probably a good 15 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah, it is. I
So
checked. And it's pretty much exactly 15.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
They're good characters, you know.
Something that I never noticed whilst watching it, but then I read it on TARDIS Wiki, and I was like, "That's so true." Is that the Doctor and Clara's relationship in this episode is noticeably different from the previous 5. So, like, him and Clara in the first 5, he kind of is a bit mysterious about her, and he doesn't always have like, I don't know, she doesn't quite feel like a companion rather than something that he's investigating a lot of the time, you know. But after that truth came out in Journey, it's like something flips, and he's like, they're just a lot more fun together now.
Yeah. Yeah. So she doesn't remember that though, does she? But he's almost like got off his chest. Is that like the sense of it?
Yeah, because he now knows that she doesn't know. So he's like, fucking, we're in this together now, pal.
And he's even like kind of given up on the idea of like, you know, even like figuring it out because like, you know, everyone keeps asking him like, what's going on here? And he's like, oh yeah, I didn't tell you, did I? And he's like, see ya. Yeah. He's kind of like chilled out a little bit with the idea of finding out who and what she is, which I think is interesting as well. Though they don't really get many scenes together in the episode, I think you can tell that they've been traveling together for a long time and are comfortable with each other. Yeah, you're correct. I like that, and I do like how they go to the north. There's a little bit of a travel from London to the north. That's fun. It's nice to be in a different place as well. We are going to the north. That's fun. I like that they didn't just set it in London. It was different and it was a bit fresh, you know.
Yeah, I really like the production design of the episode. I thought, well, I'm a sucker. I don't know. The older I get, the more I just love like historical films and TV. Like seeing the production design, walls that feel lived in. Like I was just looking at the wall at one point, so that was a bit of a silly thing for me. There's like an amazing performance going on, and I'm just staring at the wall behind them, and I'm like, wow, that wall. They've really dirtied up that wall a lot. It looks really lived in. It looks really good.
Yeah, I know. All the smoke, you know, like the very bright colors, a lot of purples and red and some greens. I really loved all that stuff. The lighting was really groovy, and it gave off this really cool vibe to the episode. I definitely think, this episode stands out. Like I think budget wise, and it was really fun. Like I said, to just go to Yorkshire, and they set Jenny up to go into Sweetfield to try and get in. She very obviously goes through a door, which always bugged me because so many people around, and even though she pays some women to like fake faint,
that's
she
so
can go
dumb.
through the door secretly. I'm like, bro, you can literally see everything. I don't know how. But I thought one of the things I thought was really creepy was they have all these like record players set up, like old record players with the speakers, and they're just playing sounds of machinery to make people think that all the rooms are filled with like machinery and stuff. That's creepy and cool. I like that. Uh, a weird part of the episode, I think, is Matt Smith is like he's got this frozen like nut face, and he's like he's like
I thought that was
fucking
fun.
purple, red.
What I thought was
Waxy
weird was when
motherfucker.
he gets a sonic erection.
Yeah, oh my god. This is what I mean by this is a bit more of a mature episode because that joke somehow I think it's funny. I don't give a fuck. I'm not offended. But I wonder if parents of kids picked up on that because it literally makes it even makes a little ding sound, like a ding.
I think
sound.
it's one of those if you know kind of thing. So I reckon they get away with it. I think any decent parent would be like, that's funny. There's no way our kid knows what that's about, you know?
I like that, and I think it's cool they did it. It made me laugh. I always love seeing it come up when I watch the episode, you know.
That's true. That's
Mm.
true.
It's
Anyways.
a bit odd though, you know, like this whole like waxy Matt Smith.
I'm there
and
for
it's-
it. I think it's fun.
It is fun. It's a bit odd. That's all, you know, like it's just a bit odd. And then there's this blind woman who's Mrs. Sweet's daughter who like comes in and like is like nurturing him and feeding him. Yeah, it's odd, but yeah, I'm there for it as well. I like it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Speaking of odd things,
Yeah.
how about videos on this channel that aren't just the podcast?
Wow,
Whoa.
what a transition.
What
I
a
love it.
transition, right? I'm trying to space out our topics, you know. So we talk a little bit
I love
about
it.
Crimson Horror, we talk a little bit about something else, you know.
Mhm.
So, you know, Connor and I have been
Perfect.
talking a little bit for a while about doing this kind of thing. Connor, would you like to take the reins on this conversation?
Sure. I was at work the other day and I really just fancied talking about Doctor Who. That wasn't the podcast. I kind of just fancied coming home and talking about something that's been on my mind recently. I won't say what the video topic is. I feel like it'll be a cool surprise when you see it, but we're thinking of dropping some videos here and there. I've already filmed one. I've already mostly edited it. And it's pretty much just me sat here. It'll look better than this and it'll sound better than this if you're watching it on YouTube. But it's pretty much just me sat here and I talk about a topic for about 15, 20 minutes. And I'm thinking of doing one maybe every like 2 weeks or so.
Well, I
Depending
was
on
gonna
how many
say,
ideas you got to talk about, you know.
maybe it would be cool if, like, you know, obviously the podcast will go on the channel weekly, and then later in the week we alternate, and like 1 week you do one week I do one week you do one, then I do one.
I was going to suggest that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what your like timing was like at the moment for filming. I know I've struggled a little bit to edit it, but
Yeah,
if I think if it was like every 2 weeks, I don't see that being a problem at all. I thought that would
Yeah,
be a really cool idea.
I wouldn't
was going
like-
to suggest that anyway.
you know, I'm sure there'll be a time where we miss an upload because this podcast is the main thing we want to.
Yeah.
Our spare time and stuff like that kind of goes towards doing this, and then it's like,
Mhm.
if we feel passionate and have something a little bit of extra time to do, then it'll be cool to make a video like that to go
Yeah.
along with them. Yeah, I barely even got last week's episode edited though. Last week I had something big that I had to kind of focus my attention on.
Yeah. Well, the idea I think was for me at least was to make sure that it wouldn't take up too much time. And I think with this video, because it's my first one, I think I've put a bit more effort into it. Effort's a bad word. I think what I'm trying to say is I don't want it to take up so much time that I feel like it's going to be a rush to edit it or film it. Like I literally just shot it on my phone, even though it looks really good. It was kind of shocking actually. And I filmed with this audio, so it sounds really good. It looks really good. But I think I'm bringing up pictures every 2 seconds when I'm talking about something, and I don't know if I'll do it that intensely every week. But yeah, my idea was to just be able to sit down and film and make it a very quick, easy video. Or one thing I did do, which I don't normally do, is I talk for a long time with quite minimal cuts. So there are quite a few ums and and there is a bit of like literally what I'm doing now. Like sometimes you're like, oh yeah, and then I'll you say this and that. So it's yeah. So it's not going to be like the most. Nor do I think it was going to be like obviously the most tight video with like good cuts and a massive script. I wrote a few notes down. I just spoke my piece, and that was about it. So we're thinking of releasing the videos probably a couple of days after like the podcast comes out. So this comes out on the Monday, maybe on like maybe on like a Thursday or something, like drop the video. So that way they're spaced out. You know?
Yeah. That could be
It's
cool.
gonna be good.
That could be cool. Look at us. We're like the 50% network now.
It's a good I think it's a good idea because I think the YouTube videos are the footage videos are really good, and I think they deserve a bit more love. And I think doing a topic video here and there is a good way to get traction to the channel. And also, I just love talking about Doctor Who. So if I can do that in another way that isn't just this show, you know, it's nice. It's very free, and it's very nice to be able to upload to it. So I don't know why I didn't do it sooner, but you know, still,
I'd love to do a such a like. I don't know. I really enjoy watching these kind of videos. I don't know why. But when I get to know like a YouTuber, like this guy, Richard Lloyd, by get to know, I don't mean I know him personally. I just mean like I've been watching his videos for a while. And now like one of my favorite videos that comes up every month is his monthly collection update, where he updates on the Doctor Who things he's bought that month. And the guy buys a lot. Stuff. So it's not like, hi, today I bought a magazine. It's like, yeah, I bought a magazine. I bought these new figures. I found these figures from like 1960 something. It's all like really cool. He's younger than us. So I'm like, you know, I don't collect heaps of stuff, but I've got a decent collection of like, in particular the Blu-rays and stuff like that. I got a lot of shit like that. So I'm like, maybe I'll do a little collection video or something.
Yeah, just make it fun. Like try do what I'm trying to do. Again, I don't think I did it this week, but I think next video I will. Just try and like not, you know, you have to worry so much about it looking perfect or it being like edited like extremely well. I think it's just it's meant to be a quick little video you kind of throw together and put out, and I've got some cool ideas about what I want to do. I have some ideas where even you and I could do a video on the side with us both in it. I got an idea of a video series I could do with a few people. Including maybe some friends in the UK, some other YouTubers. I don't know, but I just think it's a cool little thing that we've been talking about for a while. It's now 2022, so I was like, fuck it, I've been wanting to do it for a while. Might as well do it. And honestly, I was saying this to Dylan when I filmed it. It's probably the most fun I've had filming like a sat down video with just myself in it. It's probably the most I've enjoyed doing it in
nice.
as longer than I can remember, to be honest. So I think it was buckets of fun, you know.
When you strip back doing overly crazy tech things, I think I'll probably still use my good camera and stuff like that for him. But like,
of course, yeah, I get what you mean.
When you strip back, being like, oh, it's got to be like a film and shit like that, like how we kind of used to approach our YouTube videos and stuff like that. I think you get to have a lot more fun and kind of get to be yourself a bit more because you're not worried about all the other stuff. You're just worried about the you in YouTube, I guess.
I watch those videos do so much better. That's how it always works. It's always the videos you put so much effort into that don't do well, and it's always the ones that you kind of just throw together. Like Doctor Who topic videos are just naturally, I think, going to do well. So, and the reason why I haven't done them in the past necessarily is because I wasn't really interested in the past about throwing together a quick video that I knew would get views. If you get what I mean. Not there's anything wrong with that, because you know obviously we're going to start doing it, but I think now it's just a bit of fun on the YouTube channel. And
I think as long as you're having fun with it and you're not just doing it for the sake of doing it, I think it all kind of balances out.
Totally. Yeah, I had so much fun doing it, and I'm keen for people to watch it and also, you know, give their thoughts back. And I want to post, once I post a video, I want to post on Instagram saying like, what are some topic ideas that you would like to see? Because I've got a couple, but I already know that if I ask for some, people will give me a cool idea, which could also be fun. So yeah, I'm really excited. I've been wanting to do it for a while, and it went, I think, as best as it could. Yeah, I think next time I'll make the video a little bit shorter, but I think I did like a 3.5-minute intro, basically explaining like why I'm like what I'm doing this for, why I decided to start doing it, what you can expect in the future. So now that's out of the way. The video would normally be about maybe 15 minutes, but this one was about maybe 18 minutes. So yeah. It's good though, and by the time this comes out, this episode will be released on the 24th of January. So probably around, I think maybe the 27th of January, I'll release the video. I've already got a thumbnail made, which Dylan did for me, which is really lovely of him. But yeah,
Banging.
It's gonna be exciting.
You heard it
Keen to
here
do some
first,
more as well.
guys. 50%
Breaking
making
news.
YouTube videos.
Breaking
Crazy
news.
stuff. It's actually happening. Where were we in the Crimson Horror, Connor?
Sonic screwdriver boners.
That's right. That's my favorite type of boner.
Yeah, it's funny. I do like we're up to the part now where he's just like, we're gonna go save Clara. Jenny's like, what the fuck? Like, she's dead, and he's like, hey,
They also kiss, which
don't
is a
worry
bit
about
weird.
it. They do kiss, yeah. And she gives him a good slap. And
Rightfully
he's
so.
like, oh, you have no idea how good that feels. So thanks, Matt Smith, and your horniness as a doctor.
Immediately after has Sonic erection.
Yeah, this episode's got a few of those things going for it, which I think is a bit interesting, but hey, what are you gonna do? Again, my favorite part of the episode is when they go back and show when Clara and the doctor land at Yorkshire. I think it's like a week prior, and they're kind of just like walking around. It's in the fake film, but the thing I love the most is when the doctor goes to the morgue before like Vashram, before like detective, and then that the guy works as like, he says like, oh, the Crimson Horror they call it. I think because the doctor gives it such a great reaction, he's like, okay, I'm going to use this, and that's why you see him using it later on in the episode. We already see it first, but like you're like, oh, that explains why he keeps saying it, because one random guy gave him a fucking great compliment on it, which I thought was really funny. I like that a lot. Matt Smith's fake Yorkshire accent, which he's done before in Rebel Flesh, comes back, which is pretty funny, but hey, it is what it is. Again,
how
quite
good was
shorty.
How good was his costume? His period costume.
I know, how fun was that? I
Liked it.
loved seeing that. Yeah, that was really cool. It's always off. Like, for example, when Jodie wears that suit and bow tie in Spyfall, excuse me. I always loved that. I thought that costume suited her so much more.
I wish they did her first special. She had the scarf variant as well. I wish that was like a New Year's thing that they like kept up every New Year's. She'd have the scarf on.
Yeah, they only did it once,
cool.
hey?
Yeah, which is a shame. Big old shame.
Yeah, that was really cool. I like that. And then I was like, oh, maybe they'll add it, because they kind of changed all the Doctor's costumes over their era, but Jodie kind of stayed the same.
Yeah, her
much the exact
variants are so
same.
slight. You can't really tell.
No, but yeah, that whole like in the past like shot on film thing was really fun, and I thought it was a really cool and creative way of doing it. So props to Mark for that. I found that really fun. We had this whole mystery of Mr. Sweet, and I think once it gets revealed, it's more than the end. I'm not going to jump to there yet, but I think this whole mystery thing was really fun, because I think like everybody, we all were kind of just expecting some hell weird dude to come out, and it's not like that at all. And I think it's set up as a really cool mystery.
This weird fucking lobster thing with a sick mouth, and it is so funny. And the funniest thing is I watched the behind the scenes and seeing Mark Gatiss like nut over the reveal shot. He was like, and the reveal shot is so good. They literally like say, and Mr. Sweet, and it turns around like and I was like, that's so true. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's funky. It is. Like, I also thought like the Padnoshka gang kind of like storming the building, the factory, was just really fun. And it's something that we don't really get anymore. Just like these characters you kind of just like, who but you don't see a lot, just like showing up to kind of like help out stuff. And there are just a lot of pretty much, I think the Padnoshka gang and the Doctor kind of just pretty much had the same one note thing the whole way through, which is pretty much like, how the fuck is Clara back? And I don't know why Clara doesn't really question like why everyone's just kind of like staring at her and isn't really like engaging with her, but she's like, fuck it, I don't care, which is fair enough. But I guess we're kind of like the climax now, which is basically when we get, like you said, like the Mr. Sweet reveal, which I always thought was, there's something really gross and kind of shocking about that reveal, and I really liked it. Even when I watched it first, it is kind of cute. Even at the end where it's kind of just like walking away. Another bit of violence I really appreciated is that Mrs. Sweet's daughter literally just fucking clobs that motherfucker, and there's like green sludge going everywhere, and I'm like, wow, this is like, even like Mrs. Sweet like falls to like her death, she threatens to kill her daughter with like a gun.
Mm.
Like, it's certainly a bit more of a mature episode, which I think is great, and I love that kind of stuff.
It's
to
like
have, a bit of a
mature.
mature episode,
But it doesn't feel like it's being too like dark and moody and stuff like that. It's still got like
still fun.
the
Yeah,
Paternoster gang make up for it because they're a bit silly, and also just like it doesn't look overly dark. Like it is still got a lot of color and stuff in it like that.
So bright.
It's not like Impossible
Yeah.
Astronaut Day of the Moon when a bunch of the scenes are just fucking blue.
Blue. Yeah, dark blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, I totally agree. There is just something really like unsettling about it though. And it just makes you feel like I want to have a shower after watching it, which I think is exactly what it was going for. And I do think it's just a really whack and crazy idea. She's gonna send this fucking almost like rocket into the air with this fucking goo that Vastra's seen all the way back in her day. It was nice. That was a nice little callback as well, that Vastra knew what the goo was because of her ancestors and stuff. Like a little callback to the Silurians is always fun, I think.
Totally.
And Vastra's like I think a really cool character, and I always appreciate seeing it. She's my favorite character out of the Paternoster gang.
Yeah, same.
She is a really cool. Yeah, she's a really cool character to have around.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do find it funny how like Mrs. Sweet's just like firing shots at the Doctor. He's like trying to run up the stairs and she shoots, and then he like tries again and then she shoots. And I'm like, this is kind of whack, but I kind of like love it, you know.
Yeah. It's good fun.
It's just fun.
It's really
And then
well
she
paced.
falls to her death.
All the climax and stuff, it all works really well. And it's cool, like everything kind of comes together, and then it's like, oh, Mrs. Gillyflower still has the fucking high ground. And next minute Strax just like comes over the top of the thing with his gun and stuff. Like I feel like it's all like it just felt cool. It was an exciting episode, I think.
It was. Like at first when like she like Gillyflower like grabs her daughter, just like run around, and I'm like, oh, we've seen this 1,000 times before, like they're gonna chase her around. But I thought there was something really fun about them chasing her upstairs and her eventually falling to her death and not seeing it, but just cut into a reaction shot of Matt Smith going like, oh, like
yeah,
oh,
kind of played for laughs, which I thought was interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I think it was
like
fun,
fucking crazy. Yeah, it's like wow. And then again at the end, just to have this weird, kind of gross, kind of cute creature, which is practical, just crawling across the floor, just to have it like smushed. I do love there's that line where it's like, what are we gonna do with it? And the Doctor's like, well, I suppose we'll return it back to its, and it just like
cut to
just gets like literally. You
raised a good point there, though, Connor. I really love that it's practical.
Oh, perfect. You know, we'll always respect and love stuff like that. You know, that's always got like a good place in my heart. Mostly thanks to first being shown something like A New Hope as a kid. Or all the original trilogy of Star Wars, like that really always stayed in my mind. And I feel like Doctor Who's always inspired by that.
I think it's a really good practical effect as well. I remember we were talking about the creature in Hyde, and someone said like, "Oh, you know, it was so cool that the creature was practical though," and I was like, "Yeah, it's practical, but it looks fucking terrible." Whereas this, it's like it's practical and it looks awesome. So kudos to them.
Yeah. It is, and they must have like remote controlled it somehow to be on the floor. Like, I think that's great, and that always has like props in my book when I can see that something's done practically. Because like, if that was just CG, you could have been able to tell, and it's something like that would go over so many people's heads. I feel like, but people who really care about that stuff really appreciate it, and I think that's the thought that counts. I really think, and I really think it does pay off well. Yeah, again, I do question a little bit how like, you know, the Paternoster gang kind of do just let the Doctor leave, and I know we know we see them in an episode's time after Nightmare and Silver because they show up again in Name of the Doctor, but I do question, especially someone like Vastra just lets Doctor kind of leave without really explaining why this Clara is back, this variant almost like. You know, but we do get explained later on, obviously.
You know what else felt really weird to me about this scene is that they're still holding the red jar thing, and I was like, "Are they gonna give it
another
to the
one
Doctor?
For the?
Like, what are they gonna do?" And it was just like, it was just there.
Yeah, they're like another one for the cellar or something. Like they keep.
But like they do that before this scene, like that would happen between the scenes. They didn't
I
even
know
need to
it's
bring
odd.
it.
Hey,
Like it was weird. Yeah.
yeah, it's like Ed and Lorraine Warren, or their names are, when they keep pieces of
Yeah,
their like
keep
cases
Annabelle
that
in
they
the cellar.
solve. Yeah, literally, they're keeping this fucking goo. Yeah, an interesting episode. And again, we spoke about the ending, which I thought was really cool, actually. To see the pictures and stuff. That was, I mean, yeah. And she's like, I wasn't in Victoria, London. I was in Yorkshire. So
Dun, dun, dun.
I do love how she's like, that's not me. That's Patricia. That's not me.
That's fucking Patricia, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That. I'm like, who the fuck would fall for that? It's clearly you,
Yeah. It's so clearly her.
and that's your boyfriend, I think. Oh God, here we go. There's so much flirtiness like between those two,
Yeah.
Clara and the doctor. It's like, oh, do you miss me? Oh yeah. It's like, wow, okay. We're
Between
doing this
both
now,
of
I
them,
guess.
there's definite fuck me eyes going on.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's something I could do without, but it's something I gotta deal with,
Yeah. Exactly.
But what a fun episode, really. It was just fun to sit down. We've been saying this for a few weeks. It would be nice to sit down and have a bit of a bonkers, just fun episode. And that's what I think what we got in the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it delivers on
Mm.
everything it promises. It's a Paternoster gang centered episode. It's like all from their point of view, pretty much. And I really appreciate that. I think it was a nice breath of fresh air after the last two episodes.
Yeah. I feel like Mark never really wrote an episode that necessarily stood out to me much. But his episodes are always a bit fun, but I think
Yeah.
this one's definitely the funnest.
This
So
one
if
stands out to me
that's
the
what you can
most.
take out of,
And I remember Cold War quite a lot. I always do, but I always forget that it's written by him. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well that I don't know if it maybe it's his 50th year they brought him back twice, but they brought him back twice and they bring back is it Neil Cross who did Hyde and
Yeah,
things?
they brought them both back twice. I have a reason as to why Mark goes is back twice in the behind the scenes segments, which we'll get to very, very soon. But
Interesting.
Before we do that, then Connor, shall we move over to Australia's favorite of them all? Australia's favorite segment.
Okay.
It's time for Goof of the Week. Okay, Goof of the Week is the segment where we like to talk about any goofs, any production errors, anything a little bit silly that we picked up on in the episode. Connor, do you have any goofs this week, my friend?
I do not, sir.
I have one. Single one.
Gone.
And it's a small one, and it's very like just a classic movie trope thing. It happens all the times in movies and stuff. It's like, I think like Jenny's like, Vastra, you need to see this or something. And then they come look at the photo at the start of the episode, and then the doctor.
It hasn't developed yet.
Yeah. And it's like, so she's looking at a blank photo, and she's like, Vastra, you need to come see this. And then it develops, and it shows the doctor's on it. Where, yeah, that was
maybe she was like, it's developing. Come look.
Yeah, but then when you see the photo, when you see the footage of it, it like starts from being completely undeveloped. So it makes no sense. I don't know why they didn't just have it already developed there. I guess it was like to build up to the theme song kind of thing. But loving this theme song, by the way. The Series 7B theme song's fucking great.
I noticed it and I really liked it. Yeah, I totally agree.
I always think it's too loud though. Like it always feels louder than the rest of the episode. Is that just my thing, or is that you?
Maybe. I mean, like, I notice all the time when I like listening to songs in the car, like some, I guess it's in their development. Sometimes they're just like louder than, I don't know. I think mixing's a big thing, isn't it? I mean, I'm not really, I wouldn't really know what I'm talking about in that kind of scene. I'll just stick to film, thank you. But
with film, we get given like a target decibel thing that we need to work within when we're doing the sound mix, and so you think that'll be under the same thing. So I don't know. It just always feels so loud to me whenever it comes on. I don't know why.
Bit of clipping,
That's right. Well, that doesn't clip, but it's not that loud. But it's just like I feel like I'm watching an episode. And it's just like subtle. Watching it in the morning, and then all of a sudden, my whole family is awake and know I'm watching Doctor Who. You know, like
The bass, the bass.
the bass, like
bass
my
just
whole house is just
shakes through the house. Yeah.
My street's fucking partying to it,
I love it. I love it.
All right.
That's so funny.
Shall we move on to Australia's second favorite segment then, Connor?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's time for Behind the Scenes. This is the segment where we like to talk about all the behind the scene facts, the bit of knowledge, bit of trivia, just the ins and outs of the making of the episode, and or just little bits of trivia about the episode that you may or may not have known. So the Crimson Order. So originally, I think because this is a Podonasta, however the fuck it's written, the Podonasta gang, because it is a Podonasta gang episode, originally Moffat was like, I want to write an episode that's from the perspective of the Podonasta gang. I want that to be me. I want to do it. And then he was like, hold on, I'm a fucking busy man already. I'm already writing 5 episodes for this season, plus the 50th, plus the Regeneration special, plus freaking heckin' Sherlock. Marky Mark, get back here, my man. So that's why Mark was brought back to write another episode. Thought that was a lot of fun.
Someone you could trust.
Mm-hmm. We never really spoke about Diana and her daughter yet. I think we should. But the episode was specifically written for them as actors. Did you like them in this episode?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
I thought they were great. I thought Diana Rigg was a real standout villain from this season. I think she was really good, and her daughter was great really as well. Cool. Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah. The original plans for this episode in Moffat's pitch for the episode, it was supposed to feature Arthur Conan Doyle, the writer of the Sherlock books.
Yes.
In a pretty big way, but Gaddis struggled to fit him into the story, so eventually he was written out. And also the villains were originally supposed to be black mummies. Do you know what has changed in the story between them? Because it's now nothing like that in the episode. But there was a novelization of the Crimson Horror in one of the Target novel releases that came out last year. Mark Gatiss wrote the novelization, and an audiobook of it is narrated by Dan Starkey and Catherine Stewart. So that is Strax and Jenny. They do the audiobook. Also, the novelization was dedicated to Diana Rigg, who had died, I think, like 6 months before it was released.
Yeah, bless her. Yeah.
Big shame. And the last fun fact about this episode is this is the 100th episode of the revival.
That's right.
Mamma mia.
That's crazy. Right. I always thought we said it was Nightmare on Silver.
No, sorry, is this one.
Interesting.
Well, at least that's what TARDIS Wiki tells me.
Cool. Okay.
If you want to know more about the episode, check out TARDIS Wiki.
I love it. Cool.
Banging. All right. So move on to our third segment then, Connor.
Oh, yes. Let's do it.
Let's do it, boy. Let's bring in the clowns. It's time for just Insta Tings. Oh, fuck. I didn't get the sound ready. I was too busy thinking about that gag. It's time for just Insta Tings. Like I said, I've been very inactive on Twitter lately. I was very focused on something else this last week, so I didn't post about it. So I have no reviews for you, but I know you have some over on Instagram. So
that's why you said just Insta, because you don't have any on Twitter. So I will. There's me literally putting it up like a few hours ago. So I'm not gonna act like I'm a saint here, but anyway,
you are the savior of this show.
Oh, stop it, you. Okay. Okay. So obviously I put up my poll, which I do every single week, saying, did you like the episode that we're on? Do you like the Crimson Horror? 78 said yes.
78%. That's good.
Said no. So normally these polls are pretty I know sometimes we get a 50-50. Very rarely do we get one where like it's more in the favor of a no. But I think this is a really fun episode. I think people will really agree to that. So anyway, I also put up thoughts on the Crimson Horror. My girlfriend put very crimson. Didn't watch it, by the way. Don't know why I read that.
You know what? She's not wrong.
It is though. It is. She's kind of got the right picture.
Mhm.
And then our good friend Josh Nair said Mrs. Gillyflower is a girl boss.
That's
X.
actually accurate.
And I agree. I totally agree.
Mhm.
Okay, now we got our review from Jacob saying the Crimson Horror Review. All guest episodes are fun, and so is this one. The setting of the creepy, industrialized Victorian town is great, and Mr. Sweet is disgusting and works well for the episode. Also, this episode has Strax, and he is great, and the best part of the episode, 7 out of 10. I also said to him, the question's like just not going to be a part of it anymore from you. And he said, okay, I'll send you one. So he said, I've got one. I'm a fan of Gaddis' episodes and would like to see him come back once again in RTD's next era. So what are some other writers from RTD and Moffat's era that you would like to come back? Oh, and even Children's era he wrote that you'd like to see come back in the show again. That is a good question. That's all I got from Instagram, by the way. So I'll come back.
Great question.
The video. Do you want to start that, Aiden?
The first one, just
As I
looking
think.
at like the current era, that would be not necessarily likely to come back because it's rare that we have writers crossing eras. But Maxine Alderson, I feel like, or Anderson. I think it's Alderson, who wrote The Haunting of Villa Diodati and co-wrote Village of the Angels with Chris Chibnall. I think she would be great to come back in like a big way. Like, I wouldn't mind if she wrote a couple of episodes of the season. Yeah, I just think she has a great like horror vibe to her. That's my immediate thoughts. Come back to me, Connor. What are you thinking now?
So obviously I'd say Stephen, obviously. I don't think will happen in his first season, after his first season, but I can see him come back maybe for second.
Yeah, maybe.
Mark, I would love to see come back. Phil Ford is someone that I've wanted to see come back for a while. That
what did he last write?
Happen. He last co-wrote Into the Dalek, and he also co-wrote Wars of Mars with RTD.
That's right.
So they're clearly a great duo. I'd like to see that. Even someone like, even if Gaiman would fancy coming back, that would be so interesting. We've obviously got the last one from him next with Nightmare and Silver.
That's I think Phil Ford also writes a lot of Sarah Jane adventures. I don't know.
I think he's written a few. Yeah.
I can't confirm. Well, I can confirm that. I'll have a look right now. But I feel like he writes a lot of Sarah Jane. I'm not 100% sure though.
Richard Curtis would be cool again to see.
Yeah, bring him back. Bring him back.
You know what? They were sometimes Doctor Who's just really good with those one-off writers. Like I'm pretty sure Human Nature is written by a one-off writer. So stuff like that would be really interesting, I think. So that's probably what I can think of.
Dude, Phil Ford also wrote Dreamland.
He did actually write Dreamland.
Do you remember those adventure games on the BBC website? City of the Daleks, Blood of the Sidemen, Shadows of the Vast Narada, and the Gunpowder Plot. He wrote those.
Gunpowder Plot is classic.
And here we go, baby. Sarah Jane Adventures. This is what he wrote. Eye of the Gorgon, The Lost Boy, The Last Sontaran, The Day of the Clown, Enemy of the Bane, Prisoner of the Jadoon, The Eternity Trap, Mona Lisa's Revenge, The Vault of Secrets, Sky, and The Curse of Clyde Langer. All those are two-parters as well. So he's written a whole bunch of Sarah Jane. And in particular, I'm pretty sure Sky and The Curse of Clyde Langer, there's 3 stories in the final season of Sarah Jane, and I think that's 2 of them. So he wrote most of the final season.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be opposed to coming back. If I had to pick one from Chibnall's era, I can't remember his name. Peter McTighe. Pete McTighe? Yeah. He's definitely my favorite guest writer from Chibnall's era. I say that, but I fucking hate Praxis. But I love so much Kablam. I think that's such a fun episode.
I think it's a fun episode. I'm not like a stan like a lot of people are of it. I'd be more interested to see someone like what's he called, like Vinay Patel. I think the guy he wrote Demons of the Punjab and then co-wrote with Chris Chibnall Fugitive of the Jadoon. So I'd be interested to see him come back. I mean, like you said, any of those sort of writers that penned a few classic RTD episodes, I think would be interesting to come back.
I'd love to.
As long as your name isn't Gareth Roberts, you fucking prick.
Yeah, that is funny, isn't it? Gareth Roberts, he won't be coming back. No. I reckon an interesting one would be, is it Charlie Brooker who does Black Mirror?
I always thought he would be a decent showrunner. Not so much now. If it wasn't for RTD coming back, I always thought that it'd be good to have a woman take over the show. But yeah.
I literally made that point in my video. I'm like, I think the only person who's probably better than a female showrunner, if there was one other person I'd probably pick, it would be Russell. Yeah, he would be really cool to just write the odd episode.
Yeah.
Fun
Fact about Phil Ford, he wrote 86 episodes of Coronation Street.
I did used to like Corey quite a lot, so
there you go.
I can see where my love of Phil Ford's come from. That's just, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I have trust in Russell. I don't necessarily feel like I'm expecting it to be like nostalgia filled with so many classic writers from his era and beyond. But to see a familiar face pop up here and there would be really fun. I don't think Stephen or even Mark is against it. I just think it's probably just been sprung upon them too quickly. So I'm thinking maybe in his second season, because I think Russell confirmed he's doing more than one. Well, he highly alluded to it. So I'd be very shocked if Steven did an episode this season, but I wouldn't be shocked if he did one next season.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't see him coming back too soon, but I could see maybe down the line, depending how long RTD's tenure goes for, I could see it maybe happening. Just because, like, the guy was the head of Doctor Who for, 8 years? He was showrunner?
Oh, a long time.
That's a fucking long time. 6 seasons over 8 years. That's a huge commitment. Not to mention that he wrote an episode a season for like the 4 or 5 years before that. So Doctor Who was his life for like over a decade. So I think
two different doctors as well, two massively different eras.
Yeah, he's written for 4 doctors of the revival. So I think he deserves a well earned rest. And
plus, creatively, just wants to do something else, probably.
Totally. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like he probably doesn't want to keep doing the same thing. So it'll be cool for him, I think, to come back down the line and maybe just write 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah, I think that's correct. And, he probably just has some really good ideas that he just thought of, like, and he's like, oh, fuck, I'm done now. Like,
he had another fucking nightmare and was like, I need to make a movie. I need to make an episode about it.
Literally, that's literally where it comes with his episodes. Or like, I remember he came up with the idea of World Enough in Time, or the idea of the spaceship being in the black hole was an idea from his son, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
His son said, Dad, what if like you did this episode where like one part of the ship was set before like in like a different set in time and the top like it'd be going like slowly.
A fucking stoner conversation where he's like,
I just got this idea.
Like the back fucking half of the spaceship was in like,
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Like a different time zone,
I think his name's Lewis Moffat.
Something like that.
He came up with the idea. To be fair, he definitely shouted out his son. It's like, I'm not gonna fucking lie to you. This wasn't my idea. He's like, it's my son's. But I think that's a really cool idea. So he's probably had like things pop up where he's like, yeah, that'd be really fun. Now I'm pretty sure they've definitely been talking, throughout this whole process. And I wouldn't be surprised if Russell was like, even though he probably knew he was going to say no, he probably did just say, if you want to do one, you can. I reckon Stephen just said, I think because I watched his Oxford interview over Christmas, and he did say that he did get asked, and he just said, look, to be honest with you right now, I'm just way too busy writing. But he didn't at all say I won't do it. So I could see it happening in the future at some point, but not just yet. But yeah, it'll be fun to see what new writers they bring in, maybe the odd familiar face. I think it'd be a big mistake not to write with Phil Ford again. That would be fucking sick.
It depends what route RTD goes down, though, because if he does like just a 5-episode or 6-episode standalone series, that's like the 60th special series, then you might not see any returning writers. It might just be entirely RTD. You don't really know, hey, because It's a Sin and Years, that's just RTD, isn't it? There's no guest writers.
No, you're right.
So
that's a good point, actually. And he's been used to writing in that style for a while. So
yeah, I think for the
Cool.
60th, it would maybe be nice to have a pretty condensed series that's like the 60th series or something, maybe a bit shorter than usual. And then when his era really kind of explodes in his second series, to up the episode count and have guest writers come back. And that way you're kind of building up the return, because the first thing is the big return of RTD for the 60th. And then it's like, oh, there's more exciting stuff in the next years because we've got returning writers and maybe some more returning companions. I think RTD's era is like a great chance to sort of slowly just build up more and more hype again. Like have the 60th be him, and like I said, like his second season be maybe some other writers come back, but also maybe in like series 15, Martha Joan comes back and has like a couple of episodes. And then in like series 16, we get a couple of other characters come back. And then after like 4 or 5 seasons, we have like another kind of end game thing where it's like, like Stolen Earth Journey's End kind of thing, where we have characters from all different eras of the show that are still currently present in the show and all kind of come together in one epic finale. I think would be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Well, he's been quite open about how he would love to do spin-offs. So
yeah,
I think we're also going to see some really fun stuff in there. And he can always bring back writers for that kind of thing. He was very into that.
It'd be cool to maybe have him bring on like Phil Ford and have Phil Ford be like the showrunner of the fucking Ace Adventures or something like that. And
something like that, yeah.
That's all Phil Ford's domain. Obviously, similar with how Kevin Feige works at Marvel, it's like it all kind of runs under Kevin, or all runs under RTD, and they kind of workshop it together. But the vision of the show and a lot of the character storylines would be like Phil Ford's,
Totally. I would totally see something like that happening. It's very exciting times, to be honest. I'm very, 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 very excited for it. This could be a really good chance for Doctor Who to become hip now and new,
Down with the kids,
Down with the kids. I think, and I don't think there's a better person to do it than
Russell Television Davies.
That's exactly what the T stands for.
Tissues. Connor, what would you like to rate the Crimson Order out of 10?
The Crimson Order, they call it. I would rate it 7.5 out of 10.
Crazy.
Perfect? No. Enjoyable? Yes. Spooky, off-putting, eerie, kind of gross. And I like the colors and the sets. Panos are going back, which is always fun. I don't suppose Doctor and Clary had many scenes together, even though like the Panos gang were with the Doctor and all that. They didn't really speak about anything else apart from Clara somehow being back. And although I did enjoy the fast pacedness of the episode, I did sometimes feel like the pacing was a bit funny. But I still think it's really fun, and I actually enjoy the direction. I think I mentioned the direction once. I actually did enjoy the direction quite a bit. So it's fun, but just not like very much like this whole season. I think they're good episodes, but they're very, very far from being perfect or even that memorable.
They're just
but
popcorn
a very
episodes.
enjoyable watch, which is what they were going for. I really think,
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7, and a good solid 7. I think it's 7. A lot of fun. I think the directing is actually really great for a lot of it, and some great stuff. One thing that I did want to say was that I feel like ever since the Bells of ever since the Rings of Akatan, that Murray Gold's been big time slacking. Like this episode was just reused score. Like I don't think I could hear any new stuff.
Yeah, I noticed. I noticed they played a piece from the Doctor Who in the Wardrobe. When the opening scene of Doctor Who in the Wardrobe, they play that score when that ship's just going. Yeah, and it covers the Earth with the big shot.
They did kind of like the crack theme as well at one point. The
bit of Clara's theme here and there as well, which is it's all good. It's all great score. But yeah, you're right. I know there's a secret he'll take to his grave from Name of the Doctor. It's one of my favorite pieces. So I always remember that episode being really good.
I love it.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Again, we said this last week. We're like, like he must just be a bit like, oh fuck, like what the hell do I do now? Like this is a bit difficult,
And it was Transalor. It was definitely Transalor. Yeah.
And it was Trensor. It was definitely Trensor.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, he's like,
Oh, I love
Sorry.
that scene, man. Wow.
oh god, yeah, that scene really do be great, and Matt's acting is so perfect in it.
I can't wait for it.
I love his little sorry though.
Yeah.
He's great in it.
Sorry for being a
Sorry.
fucking
Yeah, I love it.
pussy. Any
Yeah,
last words,
classic
Connor?
Matt. Put him up.
My hands are up.
That's all I gotta say.
Sorry, guys. Quick show this week. I know Connor's got to get a wriggle on. So I think we'll what can you do? Think we'll wrap things up there, shall we?
Sure,
Shall we sing our little fucking shit song?
let's do it.
I'm ready, baby.
It's Aidan
And Connor's podcast.
Connor's podcast.
And Aidan's too.
Doing Doctor Who reviews.
That's right. Yeah.
Doctor Who review.
Ooh,
I lost.
ooh,
Yeah, I definitely went out.
Doctor Who.
Wow, I went out
Reviews.
time big time.
Yes.
With you,
That's what we
the
do.
viewers,
Doctor Who
who
reviews.
just for you,
All of them. The episodes
to
of Doctor Who and
Spike
SJA2.
part 2.
Kill me now.
So great. We rock. We're the best.
We actually suck.
We the best
dick.
podcast. Another one.